Today, inshallah ta'ala, brothers, we're here to talk about the reality of this dunya. The reality of this world. It's important that if you live in this world and you die in this world, you need to know what this world is and what it means to Allah and how you as a believer should be in this world. And you need to understand the relationship between this life and the next, because that's the real life. As Allah Azza wa Jalla said, when the people see وَجِيءَ يَوْمَئِذٍ بِجَهَنَّمٍ, when the hellfire is brought in front of them, what would they say? يَقُولُوا يَا لَيْتَنِي قَدَّمْتُ لِحَيَاتِي. They will say, if only we invested in our real life. On that day they say, if only we invested, if only we set something forth for our life, because that's the real life. So what is the relationship between this world and the next? Inshallah ta'ala, you need to understand that this world, there is an enemy that you have. There is a fitna that you have, and it can destroy your deen, which means that your akhirah is destroyed. And what is that? It is the love and the want and the desire of wealth, of money, of cars, clothes. Look at this hadith that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned. He said, the Prophet ﷺ said, مَا ذِئْبَانِ جَائِعَانِ أُرْسِلَ فِي غَنَمٍ بِأَفْسَدَ لَهَا مِنْ حِرْصِ الْمَرْءِ عَلَى الْمَالِ وَالشَّرَفِ لِدِينِهِ. The Prophet ﷺ said, imagine that you've got two wolves that are hungry and they're unleashed on a pack, on a flock of sheep. How are those wolves going to rip those sheep to shreds? How are they going to do it? Are those sheep going to survive? The wolves going to rip the sheep to shreds, open their insides out, blood, organs, everything spilled everywhere. And they're all going to die, they're going to be destroyed. The Prophet ﷺ said, those wolves released on those sheep are not worse than the love and the energy and the passion for money is on a human when it comes to his deen. As in the way that those wolves are going to destroy those sheep, the love of money is going to destroy your deen. The same way. You just picture that. Those wolves are yamming up them sheep, ripping them to bits. That is what the love of wealth and the love of honor and respect and reputation in this dunya does to your deen. So when you see a person who's focused on money, hustling, grinding, dunya, this, that, you find that there's a correlation between that and a deficiency in his deen. And you'll find that when there is a person who's focused on his deen, generally speaking, is turned away from the dunya. That doesn't mean that you don't live in this world. That doesn't mean that you don't work and hard and whatever have you. But where is your priority? Your money that you earn, that you work, every penny, you're going to be questioned about it on the day of judgment. The first person, you know that, right? Every penny that you spend, Allah will ask you, what did you do with this? So why are you using your money? Just using it to waste time, spoiling it, spending it on dumb stuff? You'll be asked about that. So the smart believer uses money in a way that will get him to Jannah. You use it in a way to get into Jannah, to paradise. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, فَوَاللَّهِ مَا الْفَقْرُ أَخْشَى عَلَيْكُمْ. The Prophet said, I swear by Allah, it is not poverty that I'm fearing for you. وَلَكِنِّي أَخْشَى عَلَيْكُمْ أَن تُبْسَطَ الدُّنْيَا عَلَيْكُمْ كَمَا بُسِطَتْ عَلَى مَنْ كَانَ قَبْلَكُمْ. The reason I'm scared for you is that Allah's going to open the dunya for you. The way He opened it on those who came before. فَتَنَافَسُوهَا. And then you compete in the dunya. كَمَا تَنَافَسُوهَا. The way those people before you competed in the dunya. وَتُهْلِكَكُمْ. And you'll be destroyed. كَمَا أَهْلَكَتْهُمْ. The way Allah destroyed them. To the point where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to fear two things. He said, فَاتَّقُوا الدُّنْيَا. The Prophet said, fear the dunya. وَاتَّقُوا النِّسَاء. And fear the women. Why? فإن أول فتنة بني إسرائيل كانت في النساء. Because the first fitna, the first trial that destroyed the children of Israel was the trial of the women. Pay attention, women, they want money. That's what women's fitna is. The men's fitna is the woman. The guy gets money because the woman wants a guy who's got money. The woman wants a man because the man has the money. Do you understand? A man will happily live in his mom's basement and not have to worry about, too many things. The only reason he goes out there and buys the nice clothes, get the nice car, is because he knows there's a status symbol. So get me a girl. do find some strange people like Abu Bakr who just like cars. Just genuinely, I think, if marriage wasn't a thing, he would still like cars. If women didn't exist, Abu Bakr would still like cars. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you've seen him from Ride Out. Have you guys seen Ride Out before? The show on there? Most of you don't know. Okay, you're gonna learn, inshallah ta'ala. But most men won't really care too much about the dunya. What they care about is a woman. A woman is not gonna want a man who's a bum. He just sits at home with curry stains in his t-shirt, in his mum's basement. He's not doing nothing. She wants a man who's gonna give her a nice car, a nice house, this, that, whatever have you. Does that make sense? So the Prophet's telling you, fear the dunya, that's the women. Fear the women, that's you. That's you. Does that make sense? Because a man will go and do haram in the dunya and focus in the dunya so he can get the girl. My brothers, it shows you, by the way, the danger of the fitna of women. You know, Ata ibn Abi Rabah has a side point. He used to say that I trust myself more with the wealth of the Muslims than I do with an ugly woman. He said, with the wealth of the Muslims, all the wealth, I trust myself more with that. That money, he's going to be questioned for every penny. If he loses one penny, the Prophet, what did Allah say? إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ أَمْوَالَ الْيَتَامَى إِنَّمَا يَأْكُلُونَ فِي بُطُونِهِمْ نَارًا. The ones who eat the wealth of orphans, who misspend the wealth of orphans, they are eating fire in their stomachs. So people don't like this. The people who understand this responsibility, they say, the wealth of the Baytul Mal, the wealth of the Muslims, I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to touch it. He said, I'd rather be with that, and I'll take my risk with that, with an ugly woman. Sa'id ibn Musayyib became an 80-year-old man, 80 years old, and he became blind. And he said, the thing that I fear the most for myself is women. Brothers, be real with yourself. Does that make sense? So then why have you got girls that are friends? Why do you have girls that are friends? No, I'm alright, she's my sister. And then when you do a matching with her, you're just on incest. That's what it does. Do you understand? So everyone's your sister until what? You start catching feelings for her. Brothers, wallahi, don't play. Sa'id ibn Musayyib used to say that when shaitan can't stop you from doing the good deeds that you do, he sends a good. He's trying to get you to stop praying, you can't. Fasting, you're good. Learning, everything good. Coming to class, masjid, they send a woman to you. When a woman comes into your life, I say, game over, he's gone. He's gone. Yusuf alayhi salam, Allah even said, وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَرْرَآ بُرْهَانَ رَبِّهِ. That the woman, she wanted Yusuf, she wanted to be zina with him. And had Allah not saved Yusuf, he would have been as well. But Allah saved him. Allah saved Yusuf alayhi salam. He didn't do it, and he didn't want to do it. And he would never have done it. He's a prophet. But what? Allah saved him. Allah's trying to show you, at the end of the day, had Allah not been there for Yusuf alayhi salam, he might have fallen into himself. So why is it that you think you can be alright with a woman? Know your gaze, my brothers. Tomorrow we have a lecture, by the way. We're going through the lessons from the verse in Surah An-Nur about the lowering of the gaze. So I would advise you all to come, inshallah ta'ala. It's going to be at 4 o'clock tomorrow, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. So the point is that these two things the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us to fear, the dunya and the women. Another hadith the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam he said, Inna li kulli ummatin fitna. Every single nation has a fitna. Wa fitnatu ummati al-mal. And the fitna of my nation is wealth, money. That's what they're going to kill each other over. They're going to spill blood over it. They're going to what? They're going to sell their daughters over it. They're going to what? They're going to sell their deen for it. Another hadith the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Ta'isa abdu dinar wa dirham. The Prophet said, destruction be to the one who's a slave of the gold coin and the silver coin. In other words, destruction to the one who's a slave. He worships the penny and the pound. The Prophet said, destruction. Is that a dua the Prophet made? Is that a dua? Yes. Is the Prophet's dua ever rejected? So if you start to become a slave to money, not just that, then the Prophet ﷺ said, Wal qatifa, wal khamisa. What's khamisa? Luxurious clothes. He's a slave, just designer clothes. Gucci. We try to tell him, come to the masjid, please. He doesn't come. We say, we're giving away a Gucci bag. I'm not taking no shots, brothers. Just keeping it real. You understand? Obviously, I know most people. It's just because the reason we do that, I know most people don't come for that, is because it just creates a discussion online. People think, oh, loads of people are going to, so they come. So I'm not questioning anyone's intentions. But the point of the matter is that there are some people that are slaves for that man. A man will sell drugs. Why? So he can get some nice clothes. He'll sell drugs. Why? He'll do what? He'll do a robbery. He'll go do what? Take a loan, riba. So he can have some nice clothes. He'll do fraud, scams. Does that make sense? Just so we can have some nice clothes. Allah is watching. And Allah, the Prophet ﷺ said, what? What did Allah say subhanahu wa ta'ala? يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وذروا ما بقي من الربا إن كنتم مؤمنين فإن لم تفعلوا فأذنوا بحرب من الله ورسوله. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, leave off riba. Leave off this haram money. If not, Allah declares war on you. You say, bruv, you know, I don't mind going to war with Allah. You know why? Because I'm with my God. Gucci is my God. Louis Vuitton is my God. I buy from these French kuffar who insult my messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I buy Louis Vuitton. These kuffar who insult the messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I give them money. They mock our messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As a country, come up, made a statement. We're going to mock the Prophet alaihi wasallam. I'm going to go buy what? And I'm going to do what? I'm going to support these shayateen. Already supporting football is bad, but you know, PSG, all these satanic teams, French, like, as Muslim Ummah, I don't know how we don't write off France. But we do this. You know why? Because our God is you. Not ours, but people, their God is the dunya, their God is the clothes, their God is the penny, the pound. Does that make sense? The Prophet said, this person, how do you know a person is a slave of money? How do you know a person is a slave of clothing? How do you know he's a slave? He said, if he's given that money, radiya, he's happy. But if he doesn't get money, he's not happy. He becomes happy when he gets. When he doesn't get money, he's sad. He's got health, he's got wealth, he's got family, he's got iman, he's got deen, he's got all these things. But it's not, nothing makes him happy. I had a bad day today. When you come home to a beautiful wife, kids, health, alhamdulillah, home, fridge, you know, you got food in your fridge. At the moment, you're at his £50. Really? I'm so happy today. Does that make sense? He becomes happy when he's given. And when he's not given, he's sad. So ask yourself, how are you? Does your life revolve around what? I got the gift, I didn't get the gift. Mom, did you buy this for me? No, mom, you didn't buy this game for me. We've got some young brothers here as well. You know what I'm saying? They're only happy what? When they get. If they don't get, they're sad. This person could be falling into shirk. He's got another God besides Allah Azza wa Jal. So then the question that comes to mind, my brothers and my sisters, sorry brothers, right? Because we live in a different world. What is the reality of this world? Because you're sitting here saying, well, okay, the Prophet ﷺ said, you know, money is a fitna and I've got to be conscious of money and stay away from the dunya and this and that and so on and so forth and blah, 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 blah. You know, all of these things. But the dunya is so nice though. Look at the cars though. Look at the clothes though. Look at the gal though. Look at all these things. So the dunya is a fitna. So then the question comes to mind, is the dunya really all that nice? Or have you just got a bad perspective? You know, sometimes a man wants to marry a girl. From the outside, she looks good. She's got the niqab on, Allahumma barik. She says, Assalamu alaikum, mashallah, inshallah, Allahu Akbar. See her profile on Sunnah match. What scholars you take from Ibn Baz, sister, you were born after they died. They are not your teachers. But you know, she's got the right stuff. She's saying the right words. And then when you're married to her, you're married Iblise's cousin. She's what? She speaks. Before it was all like, you know, the family kind of nice stuff. Hey, walk on! And like, bro, calm down, sister. What do you mean calm down, blood? That's where the girls are nowadays, some of them. Obviously, I'm over-exaggerating, but you understand the point. That sometimes a woman might look a certain way from the outside. When you marry her, she's something else. But the only way you would have known that is if you went to someone who really knew that woman, right? Because you don't know her. Maybe you went to her brother, maybe you went to her friend and said, look, what's she really on? So, oh, you know, when it gets dark, the jinn in her comes out. Do you understand? Like, she might have told you that. But because you didn't ask, you took her on face value and you got deceived. Do you understand? It's like that with the dunya. We look at the dunya face value when we get deceived because we don't actually ask the one who made the dunya, what do you say about it? So who made the dunya? Allah. Does Allah know the dunya better? Allah said, أَلَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ خَلَقَ? Should I not know that which I created? Allah created the dunya, so He knows it best. So what did Allah tell us about the dunya? In this one verse, Allah summarized the whole dunya. And wallahi, when you look at it, it's so sad because this is how most of our lives are. And it's actually not, it's such a low thing, wallahi. It's such a low thing. So Allah said, اعلموا أنما الحياة الدنيا. Pay attention to the way Allah starts the verse. Allah said, اعلموا. It's a command. Allah is saying, have knowledge. You need to know something. Wake up. You're deceived. You think this dunya is great. No, let me tell you what it is. إِنَّمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا. Allah said the dunya is only the following and nothing else. Meaning the list of things that Allah describes the dunya, that is what it is, without anything extra. So what is it, Ya Rab? إِنَّمَا الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا لَعِبٌ. It's playing around. That's the first thing. How much of our life is just playing? We're just playing a PS3 game, playing a game on your phone. Does that make sense? Or it's playing out in the field. And no one's saying sports is bad, but this guy just living and breathing sports every day. He's just what? Playing. He's just playing. All he does is play. All she does is play. Does that make sense? Okay, if he's not playing, what's he doing? Lahu. What's lahu? Amusement. When you're bored, what do? You go cinema, watch a movie, right? Things that are haram you do for amusement. Or even if it's halal. People are doing what? Listen to music, which is haram for amusement. Why do you go out to the theme park? Why? Is going to the theme park beneficial for you? Do you get something when you go to the theme park? Do you get paid? Did you learn a new skill? Did you grow? Do you improve by going to the theme park? So why do you go to the theme park? I'm not saying it's haram to go to the theme park, by the way. I'm asking you, why do you go to the theme park? Have fun, amusement. So Allah said all this world is what? It's la'ib. It's a person just playing around. If he's not playing games, lahu. He's just trying to have fun, amusement. But no actual benefit, no actual substance, no growth. Okay, when he's not doing that, what's he focusing on? Wazinatun, beauty. Just not looking good. He goes to the gym, why? Not because he wants to be healthy, so he can defend the religion of Allah, so he can be grateful to Allah for the body that He gave him, so he can be a strong believer because Allah loves the strong believers. No, he goes to the gym, why? So his body can look good. Does that make sense? Some brothers go extreme when they go to the gym. Like, well, actually, there's like, you're trying to define certain muscles in your body that really just having that definition there doesn't make it any better for you. Like, there are certain athletes that don't look like that, but he just wants to look like that. He just goes overboard. And even if he does, it's just, our life is just about beauty. It's just about beauty, nice clothes, nice cars, the most beautiful outfit, the most beautiful house, the beautiful decorations. Beauty. Does that make sense? And the girls, that's all, somehow their life is just beauty. Spend half an hour a day just doing makeup. Does that make sense? And then every time she walks down the road, she finds a car, she has to look in the mirror and just double check, is the makeup on right? Does that make sense? Oh, my eyebrows falling off. And she realizes, well, my eyebrows falling off. Let me just fix my eyebrow quickly. Does that make sense? My point is that the whole world is what? It's just beauty. Okay, then no. If it's not that, then what else is it? وَتَفَاخُرٌ بَيْنَكُمْ. Boasting. Look what I did. Look what I got. Look at me. Trying to one up. Every time she's trying to one up another man. Why do you post your life on social media? When you go on a holiday, your holiday is for you to enjoy yourself. Why do you post it on social media? You're too busy enjoying the experience. So you're too busy from enjoying the experience because you're too busy sharing it with other people. You go to a restaurant, nice food, the brothers are there, everything's nice, you're just taking pictures. Why? Because you're too busy sharing what you're doing with the rest of the world. You don't even enjoy it yourself. Because what? You want to show off, you want to boast. Can I tell you one of the most evil things? It's people who do this when it comes to the deen. They use the deen, start practicing, got a little social media, start getting some little followers, start talking, and they're ignorant anyway, they don't know the deen. They start talking, does that make sense? And it gets to the point that the only reason they're posting is why? It's for followers and fames. Some of them do it because of girls. Use the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this. Shaitan! That person's worse than a person who wasn't even doing it for the sake of the deen. A person's got what? A religious following, social media, and they use it what? To show off when it comes to the deen. He does it what? To show off when it comes to the deen. Showing off is bad anyway. Here it's even worse. Or Allah said, وَتَكَاثُرٌ فِي الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَوْلَادِ. Just trying to gather as much wealth as you can. Trying to gather as much children as you can. Did Allah miss out anything when it comes to the dunya? When we talk about the dunya, we're talking about just the raw dunya. Allah said it's playing around, amusement, just passing time by, watching a movie or whatever else, looking good, boasting about what you have, having kids, and of course kids come through marriage. And number 5, as much money as you can possibly get. That's all. So like if a girl comes and she got a pretty face, I'm like, what have you achieved, sister? What are you? What have you benefited to the world, to mankind? A couple of years your beauty is gonna fade away, my sister. You spent so much time, wallahi, it's gonna fade away. A couple of years, may Allah Azza wa Jal, you're gonna become wrinkly. A man's not even going to look at you twice. Does that make sense? And when you get put inside your grave, those worms are going to yam your face. All those biceps that you built. Brother, it's not big enough to save you from the worms in your grave. Those worms, those maggots are going to eat off your face. They're going to eat off your eyeball, brother. They're going to finish you. Does that make sense? So at the end of the day, what's this beauty? What is it all? It amounts to nothing. Eventually it all runs out. Does that make sense? So why is it that we're focusing on things that what? Beauty is going to grow. Even in this life, you're going to lose it. In this life, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose your beauty. Okay, when you spend time just having fun, I don't want to say fun's haram if you do it in a halal way, but you just wasted time. It's a second that you can't get back. Does that make sense? Look at this hadith, it's shocking. The Prophet ﷺ said, يَتْبَعُ الْمَيِّتْ ثَلَاثَةٌ. When a person dies, 3 things follow him to his grave. Pay attention, because me and you are all going to die. This is going to happen to the 3 of us, to all of us, these 3 things. When a person dies, 3 things are going to follow him to his grave. فَيَرْجِعُ اثْنَانِ. 2 of them are going to come back. يَتْبَعُهُ عَفْوًا وَيَبْقَى وَاحِدٌ. And only 1 of them will remain. What is it that's going to go back? What is it that's going to remain? The Prophet said, يَتْبَعُهُ أَهْلُهُ وَمَالُهُ وَعَمَلُهُ. 3 things that come to the grave is your wealth, your family, and your good deeds. All your bad deeds, your deeds generally are going to come to you. And when these deeds come to you, and you're buried in your grave, and now is the time you're going to live a lonely life. Now is the time that they're just dead bodies right next to you. Dead bodies, literally just dead bodies. Some of them are being burned in their grave. Some of them are enjoying pleasures in their grave. The angels are going to come to you and they're going to stick it on you. The angels are going to shake you savagely. They're going to come ask you 3 questions. If you're not seeking knowledge, you may struggle to answer those questions. Friends are going to be them insects. You know when you die and your body starts to decompose, it releases off a gas, and that gas, it alerts all of the creatures inside of the grave there's a dead body here, so they come rushing to Yamira. So when this happens, you are now in need of help. You need something to help you in your grave. There were 3 things that your life can be summarized into: family, money, and deeds. Your actions. The Prophet ﷺ said, فَيَرْجُ أَهْلُهُ وَمَالُهُ. His family and his wealth, they leave him. وَيَبْقَى عَمَلُهُ. His actions remain. So how sad is it? Forget family. You spend your life turning your back on Allah and His deen for friends who are not even going to back you in this world, let alone in the grave. Your own family is going to leave you in the grave. So what about your friends? Of course they're going to leave you. Your friends are leaving you in this life and you keep running after them. You keep running after them. Pay attention. Some guys, they run after girls a lot. They run after girls, and he just wants to get married. And his whole life is about a girl. Maybe he's a whipped little you, and maybe she's broke his heart. We're trying to tell him fear Allah, so to break up with her for the sake of Allah. You shouldn't be in this haram relationship. He said, but I love her. You know what I'm saying? He's a bit soft. She broke his heart. He's crying at home now. I'm going to tell you something that's going to make you feel better, bro. You know what I'm going to tell you? If that woman was your wife, and you actually married her, when you die, you know what she's going to do? She's going to cry for a while. She's a human, right? Natural to cry. Then she's going to get over you. She's going to forget about you. And then she's going to start feeling lonely again, and she's going to want another man. And she's going to get another man. The house that you built for her, and all that time you spent building that house, building that yard, putting that bed in that bed sheet, she's going to bring another man onto your bed. And that man will enjoy your wife. He will enjoy her. She'll call him babe. She'll call him honey. And if you have kids, your kids will call him dad. And she's not wrong for doing that. That's the world. Your own wife is going to eventually move on, brother. And as every day passes, your memory becomes weaker. And as every day passes in the grave, your flesh becomes even less. And your situation gets worse and worse. Some brothers wake up and smell the coffee, and they're running after these girls, running after this dunya, running after this money. Your family goes back. And your wealth goes back. What use is all these cars and clothes and everything that you work for? But none of it is going to come into your grave, man. In fact, your family, when they go back, they're going to fight over all of the things that you had. that you earned, what? For inheritance. How many times is it that I've been with a family and someone in the family died? Yeah, someone died. Yeah, sometimes their son died. Maybe got murdered. Literally a couple of days later, they've sold their stuff. They've given it to charity, they've given it out. You sold drugs, you did fraud to get all of those clothes, those cars, you did all of that. You done riba. Maybe you even didn't even do it in a haram way. Maybe you did it in a halal way, but you spent all that effort earning that dunya. And then when you die, what it means nothing to your mum. She's gonna say, we need to pay the bills. I'm selling this car. It's not gonna keep your car. It's not gonna keep your car. فَتَنَبَّأُ بِذَلِكَ. Be attentive to that. Another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, أَلَا إِنَّ الدُّنْيَا مَلْعُونَةٌ. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the world is cursed. مَلْعُونٌ مَا فِيهَا. Everything inside of the world is cursed. Except for 4 things. إِلَّا ذِكْرَ اللَّهِ. The remembrance of Allah is the only thing. And then, وَمَا وَالَاهُ. Anything that pleases Allah Azza wa Jal. وَعَالِمًا. A person who has knowledge. أو متعلما. A person who is seeking knowledge. Was your profession mentioned in there? Was your children mentioned in there? Was the sport that you play in, the game that you mentioned, is it mentioned in there? Was your country, your nation mentioned in there? All of that is cursed. Everything in your life is cursed. Your children are cursed. Do you remember Allah? Do you do dhikr? Do you read Quran? Do you pray salah? Number 2, do you please Allah? وَمَا وَلَا. Do you please your Lord? Number 3, do you have knowledge? Are you a jahil? Okay, maybe you don't have knowledge. مُتَعَلِّمًا. Are you studying? Are you trying to gain knowledge? Do you come to the masjid? Or have you abandoned knowledge? You turned away from the masjid. You abandoned knowledge. Some brothers, they used to seek knowledge, but they got busy with it. They got busy. Like the hypocrites. Allah says, سَيَقُولُ لَكَ الْمُخَلَّفُونَ مِنَ الْأَعْرَابِ. The hypocrites who didn't come and fight with you, Muhammad, they're going to come and say to you, شَغَلَتْنَا أَمْوَالُنَا وَأَهْلُنَا فَاسْتَغْفِرْ لَنَا. They're going to say we became busy with work and family. You tell a brother, come to the masjid. Sorry. Says you what? Got work. Come to the masjid. Got kids. Actually, Allah gave you those wife and kids and you can take them away from you. Come and learn about your Lord. You live your whole life, you're going to die and you don't even know Allah's names. You don't even know Allah's names. How are you going to answer the question in the grave when angels say to you, Man Rabbuk, who is your Lord? And when they ask you, who is your prophet? You don't even know his second name. He says, Muhammad, what? And it's wajib for you to know his second name. How are you going to say he's my prophet? How are you going to recognize me? You don't even know what he looks like, what his sunnah was. This is why the Prophet ﷺ trying to tell you, this word, it distracts you from the circles of knowledge. It distracts you from the dhikr. It distracts you from the obedience of Allah Azza wa Jal. No one's saying you can't have a good time in the dunya. But this is not the eternal abode. This ends 60, 70 years. That life, it has no end. Knowledge gets you there. Dhikr gets you there. Ibadah gets you there. It's not enough to do ibadah without knowledge. Have to seek knowledge. Where it's wajib for you to pray salah, it's wajib for you to come and learn how to pray salah. Hadith the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لو كانت الدنيا, if this world, تعدل عند الله جناح بعوضة, if this world had any value to Allah, the value of a mosquito's wing, break down the hadith. Is a mosquito valuable? When you go to a pawn shop, what do? You give an item so they give you some money, right? You give an item so they give you money, right? If you go to a pawn shop with a mosquito, how much are they going to give you? Mosquito only doesn't have value, it's annoying. You say, bruh, you brought a mosquito. This thing going to sting me, man. So number one, it's annoying, it's frustrating. it's not even that it doesn't have value. Like for example, it's interesting, the Prophet said mosquito. An ant, the Prophet could have said, if imagine you try to sell someone an ant, I said, but yeah, I got enough in my back garden, bruv. You try to sell me an ant for. But an ant doesn't harm you. An ant just chills, walk around, like in your face, you don't even realise. It's cool inside your beard. There's no ants on my beard. I'm from the brothers that maintain this beard, you understand? Condition, shampoo. You know what I'm saying? Let's take care of your beard. But ants don't get in the way. Mosquito, it doesn't have value like an ant doesn't have value. But mosquito, you want to kill it. Mosquito, you want to kill it. The Prophet ﷺ said, he didn't say a mosquito. He said the wing of a mosquito. Not two wings, one wing. Imagine now you come to a brother, you say, trying to buy a wing of a mosquito for me? Mosquito was bad enough, but you're trying to send him a wing of a mosquito? It has no value. It has no value. The Prophet said, if the dunya even meant to Allah in value the wing of a mosquito, Allah would not have let a kafir drink a sip of water. Does Allah love the kuffar? No. So why does Allah let them drink? He doesn't care about this world. If you come to a place, a house is messy, I'm going to say, but he doesn't care about his yard. He doesn't take care of his yard. Some brothers, they don't take care of their car. They don't really care about their car. It's not important. They just got bird poo stains all over. Does that make sense? He doesn't care. When you just let whatever happen, you don't care about this. Allah has this doesn't mean anything to Allah Azza wa Jal. So he lets the kuffar drink. Not sip. Sips, drink. Allah does not care about this world. Now, you know what's sad? Is that if you come to me and imagine I made the phone. Imagine this iPhone, I designed it. Imagine I designed the iPhone and I told you, listen, you see this phone that I made? It's terrible, don't buy it. Would you ever buy it? Who would be the dumb one who would buy it? I believe you're more intelligent than that, Allah barik. You wouldn't buy a phone, right? And the guy who made it, imagine you go to a bakery and you're trying to reach for a donut. And the baker goes, I wouldn't get this one. This is actually one of the bad ones. Are you going to buy it? Because they know it, they made it, right? Allah made the dunya. He knows the dunya better than anyone, and Allah is telling you this dunya is bad. It's not valuable. It doesn't have value. So why are you running after something that Allah Azza wa Jalla has told you it has no value? It's a hadith that shocks me. The Prophet ﷺ said, يُؤْتَ بِأَنْعَمِ أَهْلِ الدُّنْيَا مِنْ أَهْلِ النَّارِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. One of the people that lived the best life in the dunya, cars, clothes, luxury, money, women, respect, everything, he had it all. He reached the top of the food chain in the dunya. He's going to what? Be brought. فَيُصْبَغُ فِي النَّارِ صَبْغَةً. He's going to be dipped into the hellfire, just one dip. One dip, just dip once. And then he's going to be asked, يا ابن آدم هل رأيت خيرا قط؟ هل مر بك نعيم قط؟ Have you ever seen any good? Have you ever enjoyed anything in your life? And the man will say, لا والله يا رب. I swear by Allah, my Lord, I've not seen any good. You say, I've never seen any good in my life. One dip in the hellfire will make you forget every girl. One dip in the hellfire will make you forget every blessing that you had. So is it worth it if you want to spend eternity in there? Or several years in there? Centuries perhaps in there? Millenniums perhaps? Then the Prophet ﷺ said, وَيُؤْتَى بِأَشَدِّ النَّاسِ بُؤْسًا فِي الدُّنْيَا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْجَنَّةِ فَيُصْبَغُ صَبْغَةً. And the person who suffered the most in this world, poverty, hardship, illnesses, sicknesses, sadness, pain, suffering, the one who suffered the most in the dunya for the people of Jannah. And he's going to be placed inside of paradise once, just one dip. Paradise is so banging that when he's asked, يا ابن آدم or son of Adam, هل رأيت بؤسا قط؟ هل مر بك شدة قط? Oh son of Adam, have you ever seen any pain? Have you ever had any hardship? He said, لا والله. He said, لا والله يا ربي. He said, لا والله يا ربي ما مر بي بؤس قط. I've never suffered. What suffering? You got to dip in paradise for 1 second. He saw the girls in Jannah. He said, what? He said, what? What? I don't know about pain. What pain do I know about? ولا رأيت شدة قط. I've never seen hardship. I've never seen no distress. One dip in paradise makes you forget all of the pain here. And one dip in and hellfire will make you forget all of the joys that you abandoned Allah for. Does that make sense? This is why the Prophet ﷺ used to say, Allahumma la isha illa isha al-akhirah. Oh Allah, there's no life except for the life of the next life. And Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah ta'ala used to say that if you come across something from the dunya that amazes you, you should say this. Right? Because when you say something, it has an effect on your heart. Allahumma la isha illa isha al-akhirah. Oh Allah, there's no life except for the life of the next world. So then, okay, we're in this world, we're living in it, how should we be? What should you be doing in this world? Okay, you got to go, you got to eat your food, you got work. But there are some primary things that you need to be doing. One of the things that you need to be doing is crying in this world. Crying over what? Crying over your sins. Crying over the fornication. Crying over what the people that you harm, the people that you rob, the disrespect to your parents, the prayers that you missed. That's what you need to be crying over. That's what you need to be crying over. Every night you sin and you disobey the lies of Jal. Every night that you watch something filthy, you need to be crying over that. Allah said, أَفَمِنْ هَذِا الْحَدِيثِ تَعْجَبُونَ? Is it over this Quran that you're amazed? That you're astonished and you're wondering? وَتَضْحَكُونَ وَلَا تَبْكُونَ? And when you hear these reminders and you hear the Quran, you laugh and you don't cry. You don't cry over your sins that are past, and you don't cry over the grave that waits you and the day of judgment that awaits you. وَأَنْتُمْ سَامِدُونَ? And rather, what do? You listen to music after. You joke and play around and you mock the deen. Let's go watch Netflix, let's just go kick it now. Have some food and laugh now. You heard the Quran and it meant nothing to you? Rather, Allah said, فَاسْجُدُوا لِلَّهِ وَاعْبُدُوا. Allah said, make sujood to your Lord and worship Him. This ayah, these verses are so powerful. When the whole of Quraysh heard it, all of them, Muslim, Kafir, fell into sujood to make sujood to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Even a Mujahid. A Muslim will hear this. He's harder than these Mushriks. It can't because he's a Muslim. So why is it that he's not submitting to his Lord? There's a hadith that really changed my life. And this is one of the most closest statements to my heart from a companion. And it's the reason that I never missed a prayer, alhamdulillah, since I came to the deen. And I ask Allah to keep me steadfast in all of you. Protect us from falling off, because we don't know how we're going to die tomorrow. I really hope that you can hear this statement live with it the way I tried to live with it. Of his companion Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, he said, إِذَا أَمْسَيْتَ, he said, if you make it to the night time, فَلَا تَنْتَظِرِ الصَّبَاحِ, don't expect that you're going to wake up in the morning. وَإِذَا أَصْبَحْتَ, and if you make it to the morning, فَلَا تَنْتَظِرِ الْمَسَاءِ, don't think you're going to live to the night. You can die at any moment. You can die at any moment. How many you see don't leave off worshipping Allah. Don't leave off Tawbah. Don't leave off Tawbah. If you've got sins, if you've got girls on your phone right now, delete it. You've got music, get rid of it. You've got the Netflix app, delete it. You've got friends that are bad, cut them off. If you don't leave it off now, it's always going to be. You're going to forget everything I said as soon as you walk out the door. And it's going to take what? Some girl to text you and you forgot about it. Delete it all. Just abandon everything. If you leave this masjid, cut off everything. If social media is a fitna, cut it off for you. Delete the app before you go. If these girls are going to call you back, snap the SIM before you leave. And get a new SIM in the morning. Because you don't know what they're going to do. Don't never go to sleep thinking, I'll start praying 5 times a day from tomorrow. You see, you're going to be late tomorrow. Salaf will say that death is like a sword stretched out over the neck of every single one of you. Death is like a sword on all of our necks. And the second Allah told the angel death, that's a big one. One of the Salaf, they said to a man, they said, lead us in salah. He says, you know what, not now, I'll lead the next prayer. They said, you're not leading this prayer, nor the next prayer, but you're a sinner, you're a fasiq. Why? He said, who told you you're going to live to the next prayer? He actually believed he was going to live to the next prayer. The Salaf would live, no, I don't know if I'm going to live to the next prayer. I don't know if I'm going to live to the next prayer. Does that make sense? Live like that, death will come every time. Okay, how was the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he came to the dunya? I want us to take examples of how Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was when he came to the dunya. You know why? Because he was the greatest man who ever touched this earth. He was the most honorable man who ever came to this earth. Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There is no one greater than him. Is there anyone that Allah loved more than him? Is there anyone Allah honored more than him? Okay, so he was the greatest, the most honored. He's Sayyid Sayyid of the children of Adam alayhi salam. He's the leader of all of the prophets. So if this dunya had value, and if this dunya was great, then the Prophet would have had the greatest portion of it. Yes or no? Because the Prophet was the greatest, he has the greatest of anything that's good, he has it. To the point where all of what the Prophets had of good, Allah gave it to the Prophet. Yusuf had beauty, Allah gave it to him. Isa alayhi salam, when Allah's permission, could bring the dead back to life, Allah gave it to the Prophet. Or he could make people who are sick, he could cure them with Allah's permission, Allah gave it to the Prophet. Musa threw his staff, Prophet alayhi salam, with Allah's permission, split the moon. Anything that any Prophet had, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had better. His manners was the best, everything was the best, his sharia was the best, his ummah was the best, the Quran that came was the best. So then Allah would give him the best, yes or no? Okay, then what was the Prophet's situation with the dunya? One time the Prophet's wife, when the Prophet had died, she was speaking to her nephew Urwa. And she said to him, Wallahi, my nephew, I swear by Allah, لننظر إلى الهلال ثم الهلال ثم الهلال ثلاثة أهلة في شهرين. She said, I swear by Allah, my nephew, I used to watch the moon. And I used to see the moon again, the new moon. And I used to see the new moon again. 2 months would go by. وَمَا أُوقِدَ فِي أَبْيَاتِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ نَارٌ. 2 months would go by and there would not be a single fire that was lit in the Prophet's house. What does she mean by that? Nothing was good. It was called fire. Imagine 3 new moons pass. Not one meal was cooked in the house. And then the nephew asked, he said, so how did you live? قالت الأسودان التمر والماء. He said, we lived with water and dates. One time the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, لو كان لي مثل أحد ذهبا لسرني ألا تمر على 3 ليال وعندي منه شيء. The Prophet said, if I had the mountain of Uhud in worth of gold, I would not like 3 nights to pass and even anything from that money is me. I want to give it all for the sake of Allah. Spend it all. You know why? Because brothers, the money that you spend is what remains. Some of us think, he gives to charity, how much money you got left? He said, I've got £5 left, I gave away 10. No, actually, you've got £10 left. That £5 is going to come out your backside when you buy food and go to the toilet. So the charity that you give remains. After I understood, let me just give for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jalla. When Umar radiallahu anhu saw the people indulging in dunya, and they had the dunya, look at this, is so sad, wallahi. When Umar saw the people indulging in the dunya, he said to them, لَقَدْ رَأَيْتُ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ يَظِلُّ الْيَوْمَ يَلْتَوِي مَا يَجِدُ دَقَلًا يَمْلَأُ بَطْنَهُ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ. He said, Wallahi, he said, one time I saw the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he was in so much pain because of hunger, his body curled up, and he was curled up, and he couldn't even find bad quality dates to fill his stomach, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Aisha radiallahu anha said, توفي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وما في بيتي من شيء يأكله ذو كبد. She said, when the Prophet died sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in the house, there was nothing in the house that a human being could eat. There was nothing that a human being could eat. She just had some barley. So you can't eat that and finished. Barley, imagine every day eating barley. One time, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu was walking past a group of people. So they invited him because they had cooked the sheep, they roasted the sheep. He said, come eat with us, the Prophet's companion. Kharaj, and then what did he say? He declined, he said, I can't eat this. He respectfully declined the offer. He said, Kharaja Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam min al-dunya. He said, the Prophet left this world. وَلَمْ يَشْبَعْ مِنَ الْخُبْزِ الشَّعِيرِ. Never once did he fill his stomach with even barley. The Prophet lived this world, he didn't eat these things. He didn't even fill his stomach once. Even with the food that he had, the barley, he didn't even fill his stomach with that. And I just, not that he's saying it's haram. He's not saying it's haram. He said, I can't bring myself. If this meal was good, the Prophet would. That's about the meal in Jannah that we eat. Anas radiallahu anhu said, لم يأكل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على خوان حتى مات وما أكل خبز مرققا حتى مات. He said the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم never once sat at a table to eat food. He lived his whole life, he died, he never sat at a table to eat. And the Prophet his whole life, he lived and he died, he never even tried a thin sliced toasted piece of bread. He never tried it. So, even when the Prophet died, he just had very few things. From the things he had was a shield. He had armor. And even that was in the hands of a Jewish man. You know why? Because the Prophet ﷺ, he done something called a rahan, which in English you call it collateral, where you got money but I got an item. Let me give you this item, you give me money, and then I'll pay you back after. The Prophet didn't have enough money to eat food, so he gave the Jewish man his armor. Said, you hold this for me. He gave the Prophet food. Does that make sense? And the Prophet died. And even his shield was with the Jewish man. He didn't even have it, he had nothing, so I said he died. When he had it was gone. So my brothers, what I just benefits to what? Turning away from this dunya and not enjoying the pleasures of this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَيَوْمَ يُعْرَضُ, pay attention to this verse. Allah said, وَيَوْمَ يُعْرَضُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا عَلَى النَّارِ. Allah said, the day that the kuffar are going to be presented to the hellfire. أَذْهَبَتُمْ طَيِّبَاتِكُمْ فِي حَيَاتِكُمُ الدُّنْيَا وَاسْتَمْتَعْتُمْ بِهَا. It's going to be said to them, أَذْهَبَتُمْ, on the day of judgment. The pleasures, you've used them. It's going to be said, you use the pleasures. أَذْهَبَتُمْ طَيِّبَاتِكُمْ فِي حَيَاتِكُمُ الدُّنْيَا. You're not getting no girls, you use the girls in this life. You don't get to drink from rivers of wine. You drank from wine in the nightclubs here. You don't get to listen to what? The singing that's going to take place in paradise. You were too busy listening to music here. You don't get to what? Hang out with the Prophet ﷺ. You were too busy hanging around with a man on the block here. أذهبتم طيباتكم في حياتكم الدنيا واستمتعتم بها. And you enjoyed the dunya. You enjoyed them girls. You enjoyed that money. You enjoyed your weed and your drugs, and you enjoyed hanging out on the blocks. You enjoyed your Gucci. You enjoyed them things there. Does that make sense? So you used up your pleasures. فاليوم تجزون عذاب الهون بما كنتم تستكبرون في الأرض بغير الحق وبما كنتم تفسقون. Now on this day, you're just going to be punished. Now you're going to be punished. That's what awaits you today. Does that make sense? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, يدخل الفقراء الجنة قبل الأغنياء ب500 عام. The Prophet said the poor people will enter paradise 500 years before the rich people. Another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, قمت على باب الجنة فكان عامة من دخلها المساكين. The Prophet said, I stood by the door of Jannah, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said what? That he noticed that the majority of the people who enter inside of paradise are the poor. It shows man doing it. Not saying money is haram, but it shows you people get money. They lose focus. Forget, they're broke, trying to get money. They don't even have it. They've already lost focus of the deen. Does that make sense? They've already lost focus of the deen. But some will say, but what about the ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا. Don't forget your portion of this world. No one's telling you to forget your portion. But the reality is that you live for the dunya more than the akhirah. Change it, switch it up. And not just that, by the way, some of the scholars said that that verse is not even what you mean. It's not even what you think it means. It's not even that don't forget your portion, as in the verse is telling you, get your portion of the dunya in terms of wealth. No. Imam Qurtubi rahimahullah in his kitab Tadhkirah, which is a book about the afterlife, so the scholars mention that this is talking about the white shroud that you're going to be buried with in your grave. Because the only thing from this dunya that goes into your grave is what? Only material thing from this dunya, the only wealth that you actually have that goes into the grave is what? The sheet that you're going to be wrapped in. it's going to be, that's the only thing that you're going to go into your grave with. So then make sure you've got that. And make sure you've got it from halal money. Imagine when you die, you're going to be wrapped inside of a shroud that you made from what? Drugs. You're going to be wrapped in a shroud that you made from what? Drugs, or fraud, or lying and cheating, or riba, or some other transaction that Allah Azza wa Jalla has made impermissible. Imagine that is the case. So at least make sure that what you have it from halal. To conclude, inshallah ta'ala, what I want to mention is the way that Allah Azza wa Jalla describes Jannah. And in the Quran, the Jannah description is massive. I just want to give you a small glimpse at the way Jannah is. Because we've talked about how bad the dunya is. And the dunya gets in the way, it destroys your deen, which mashes up your akhirah. So then what is the akhirah? It's hellfire, we're not going to talk about that. Let's talk about paradise. Allah Azza wa Jalla said, إِنَّ الْأَبْرَارَ لَفِي نَعِيمٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, the ones who are good, they're going to be in pleasure. Imagine being in a state of pleasure. Like, is Allah not even telling you what you're doing? Just, you're going to be in pleasure. عَلَى الْأَرَائِكِ يَنْظُرُونَ. You're going to be on these beautiful couches just looking. Pay attention. You know, looking is a good time. Why is it that men find it so hard to look away from a woman? Why? Because you like to look at things that are beautiful, right? You shouldn't look at the woman because you're not married to her. It's haram for you. But the reason why it's hard for you is because we like to look at things that are nice. Why is people on social media just looking at things? A guy's just going through different websites and just looking at clothes all day. We like to look at things. Does that make sense? You come to your house, why do you decorate? Because you like to look at a nice house when you come in. Imagine your garden in paradise is just beautiful. It's looking beautiful. And then guess what? What's the greatest thing that you look at in paradise? Allah. To give you an understanding of how amazing it is to look at Allah Azza wa Jalla, because the Prophet said, when you look at Allah, it's the most beautiful thing that you looked at. Never is nothing greater than that. And there's going to be no pleasure in paradise greater than looking at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So then pay attention. The Prophet Allah told us in the Quran the story of Yusuf. How handsome was Yusuf? When the women looked at him, they cut their fingers. Because they were so they were looking at him, enjoying looking at how handsome this man is. They cut their fingers. And he said, وَقُلْنَا حَاشَ لِلَّهِ مَا هَذَا بَشَرٌ. They said, this is not a man. إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا مَلَكٌ كَرِيمٌ. This is an angel. This is an angel of Allah. This is not a human. So Ibn Qayyim says, then what will it be when you see the most beautiful, the source of all beauty? That is Allah. What will it be when you see his face? Allah said, تَعْرِفُ فِي وُجُوهِهِمْ نَضْرَةَ النَّعِيمِ. You will know the pleasure they're in by their faces. And this is the part that I want to come to, inshallah ta'ala. Allah said, يُسْقَوْنَ مِنْ رَحِيقٍ مَخْتُومٍ. They're going to be given a drink. It's called the sealed nectar. The drink is, that just sounds banging. The sealed nectar. رَحِيقٍ مَخْتُومٍ. Now what does the drink taste like? What's the first sip of the drink? Allah doesn't tell you what the drink tastes like. This drink is special, by the way. This drink is amazing because Allah decided to talk about the drink to describe and represent one of the greatest pleasures in paradise. So this drink is amazing. Allah doesn't tell you what the drink tastes like. He doesn't tell you the first sip. He doesn't even tell you the flavor. He says, خِتَامُهُ مِسْكٌ. He said the ending of the drink. Why is Allah talking about the end? Pay attention, the ending of the drink is the worst part, is it not? When you drink tea, who drinks the end? You leave the end. When you have a milkshake, you leave the end. You drink coffee, you leave the end. The last part of the drink, the smoothie, we leave it. It's the lumpy part with all the pieces. It's the part that we don't like. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَخِتَامُهُ مِسْكٌ. Khitamu, sorry, without the word. Khitamuhu misk. That the ending of this drink is misk. The ending of the drink is what? Is misk. Misk is that beautiful fragrance in this life. Imagine how misk is in Jannah. So Allah is telling you that the ending, which is the worst part of the drink, how banging it is, then imagine what the first drink sip is going to be like. My brothers, this drink is so amazing that wallahi, if you lived and died and worshipped Allah Azza wa Jalla every night, and all you got at the end was the joy of this drink, wallahi, it'll be better than all of the dunya and everything inside of it. And that's why Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَفِي ذَلِكَ فَلْيَتَنَافَسِ الْمُتَنَافِسُونَ. Inside of that, for that, compete. Compete for this drink. Go hard now. Memorize the Quran now. Pray. Go to the masjid now. First row in the masjid now. Pray your salah now. Do your dhikr now. Seek knowledge now. Give charity now. Compete. Why? For what? For the drink. That's how banging it is. Then what about everything else? What about your houses? What about the things that you're going to have in paradise? What about your wives? What about hanging out with the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What about kicking it with the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What about seeing your parents that passed away? What about seeing that some of us, we're from countries where we've not always been Muslims. So imagine seeing the first man in our lineage that accepted Islam and brought Islam to our family. Imagine seeing your kids, everyone's together. And by no stress, no one's beefing no one. Some brothers come to the mission looking over their shoulder, other ups around. Jannah, everyone's not up, everyone's good. We end by saying that Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَمَا عِنْدَكُمْ يَنْفَدْ وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ بَاقٍ. Whatever is with you, it will end. What is with Allah Azza wa Jalla will remain. Allah said, بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. You prefer the worldly life. But what Allah has is better, and it lasts forever. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك. If you'd like to get more information about when the next event is going to be, the location, time, place, date, click the link below and join the Telegram group that will take you to a group where we have all the information about all of our live events. I wanted to give those of you who are not able to make it an opportunity to participate in the khair. And that is that, inshallah ta'ala, if you'd like to contribute towards the expenses of these events, we don't charge anyone to attend, but we do have a lot of expenses, food, whatnot, the giveaways that attract people to come in and whatever have you. As you can see, it brings in the youth, the youngsters, the ones who we really need to reach out to them and get them in the masjid. You know, someone may come to the masjid, completely change their life, and of course Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the primary reason for that, but then Allah Azza wa Jalla might have made you a means for that person or those people to change. So donate as generously as you can, the link below, and inshallah ta'ala, please come and attend. So hopefully we see you there, inshallah ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum, peace.